Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to FPR. My name is Jake Hill, and I am one part of Hagen Hill Design. If you don't know that already, where have you been? I'm just finishing up a couple little tasks here that, well, quite frankly, for some reason I'm looking at a calendar instead of my live stream. That's a great way to start a new one. If you don't know, there we go, that's better. That's generally how I get things done. Foxy, Uncle Smiley's Aquarium 3G, welcome in. Empire of Dirt Aquatics, Jeff Kane says stranger danger, run away. You know, he's only looking out for your well-being. Thank you guys for showing up. How am I doing so far? Hope you can hear me. I'm pretty sure you can, because I can see all that I need to see in this program. So it's FPR. What is FPR? I think in the description and the title it kind of tells you the FPR, the initials for Fish Plants Radio. A new idea that I had to try to freshen things up a little bit for us and to try something different. And so we're starting it tonight. I made that decision last weekend, I believe, maybe Sunday, Monday, somewhere in there. And therefore, I kind of threw together a quick idea about tonight's episode. Not only is it special because it's the first one, it's special because I get to have a more intimate time with you guys, talking to you, looking at chat, and try to keep up with what people are saying. I don't normally have that luxury while doing the other live stream, so that's one of the points, and the biggest point of doing this is to have a little time to really focus on chat. My gosh, there's a lot of people in here. Jose is in here, Pepperland Creek Aquatics. That's Brian, one of my good friends, as well as Foxy's Fishes. I said that already, but she's worth saying it a few more 100 times. Stan Pittman is in here too. Give it a minute, he'll F something up. Are you talking about me? It's usually how it goes. This would be a very simple stream. We have those three things: fish, plants, radio, and the intent is to talk about those three things in 3 segments. And showing you guys some video footage. If you've heard in our Case of the Monday stream, I often talk about how hard it is to edit videos and make video content, being that I'm I have a full-time job. That's sometimes more than full-time, and I'm also a full-time dad. A full-time, well, I try to be a full-time man for Katie, but sometimes it's hard. Elfish, thanks for coming in. Hi, David. Hope I'm not missing too many people. Said Uncle Smiley's here. Senor Joel. So it's the basic rundown of how things are going to kind of progress in the stream. So it's brand new. Bear with me. I'm sure just like Case of the Mondays, it got a little more polished and a little more different and evolved over time, and I'm sure that this is going to be the same way. Who did I just see show up? Sunny G. Howdy to you as well. All right. Well, I'll look at the clock a little bit. We're 5 minutes in. So how about we start with a little bit. Let's start with fish. Now tonight is not going to be a focused topic as far as a certain kind of fish or anything like that. It's going to be more of a generalized view of what the fish topic is. And if you follow along, this is kind of the format that I'm going to be playing with, showing some videos. I wasn't even going to be on the screen, but I decided, you know, I guess. Then you can see I'm up here in the corner, guys. See me? All right. The three passions that Katie and I share, starting with fish. It is something that has been in our childhood. And maybe before I start, I should just explain something to you. Tonight, Katie can't be with us, mostly to do with our time slot. We'll play around with that in future episodes of this. So for tonight, unfortunately, you just have me. There will be some footage of Katie later on, though, I promise you that. Fish for us has been something that we loved in our childhood, teenage years, growing up, and as our life had grown together, her and I, we found this mutual love about fish and ponds, starting with ponds, and it just kind of grew from there. It is really something that we love so much, and we had the pleasure to find out that there are a lot of people in this world that feel the same way. They enjoy keeping fish. What do you guys think about that? I mean, most of you, I'm talking about you guys here in chat. Finding you guys and meeting you, some of you in person, having live streams with a lot of you, seeing you in chat, having conversations. Over the last couple of years, I feel like we've gained a lot of friends. And it's all because of these little swimmy fishy guys. So, talk about that in chat. Is it really important for you guys? Do you feel the same way, I guess is what I'm asking. Do you find that, I know Jeff does. Jeff spends all of his time either in chat or working. I don't know how he gets anything else done, really. Empire of Dirt Aquatics, Jeff Kane, one of our awesome moderators. That's certainly a friendship I'm certain I would have gained as it hadn't been for love for fish keeping. There's a lot of benefits when it comes to that, and I'd like to go over a lot of those in future episodes, make that a more topic specific thing. I know Katie told me she put like a notepad out here so that I could find topics, because sometimes, like, I think I know what I'm going to say, and then I go live, and it's like, I don't know what I was going to say. And I'd never script any of this stuff, you know. Try to have a general idea. Jeff says he doesn't sleep, that's why. It makes sense. I don't think I get much sleep either. Last night I was up till like 2 in the morning. That's because, well, River decided not to go to sleep. For those who don't know, River is our 1-year-old daughter. She is beautiful, and she can also be a handful. What's cool about her, though, is that she just shows herself being so well behaved and so wonderful when there's other people around. When it's just mom and dad, it's like other things can show. Any parent can understand that. Thanks, Sonny. We do love our goldfish. Some of this footage here is a lot older. This tank that you're looking at, the 29, one of our 29s, it's not stocked the same. Some of these fish aren't alive anymore, including this swordtail you're seeing. His name was Gonzo because of his white eyes, and he made many, many children. You see the little black and orange swordtails in there. Those were all his kids. The mama is the bright orange one that you saw in the shot earlier. Here's some angel fish that we were growing out. We hatched. Well, they hatched, but we successfully bred some. Love angelfish. Jeff says that's normal. Okay. I kind of figured so. I had a couple other children too in the past. So there's a blood parrot, one of ours. They're a lot bigger now. There's a pair of them that we had in this tank for a while. Had to take them out because didn't realize they were diggers. And that is a deep substrate dirted tank. They started making a mess out of it, so I had to pull them out. Now they're in a pond, stock tank pond over there. Anyways. Anyone else I'm seeing in here that I didn't say hi to yet? Might be some lurkers. I did put this on members only chat. Not members only, subscriber only chat. Danikin Aquatics, hello. Welcome. What's up to you? And we're just going over this fish segment of FPR, Fish Plants Radio. And just going over these random scenes. I just kind of quickly went through some of my past video footage that I had and threw it all together really quick just so I could make a 15-minute segment. Little shrimps. We love our Neos too. Those are so much fun. So I don't know if I saw much response in there. Do you guys, like what I was saying about finding the friendship and the people that we've met and all kind of get together in these chats, isn't that I don't know, I want to say almost equal part of our fish keeping for a lot of us, if not maybe more, maybe less, who knows. I don't know if I'd be this far into fish keeping if it wasn't for getting into this community like I have. Seeing all the different ways that people keep fish and the way they love them and the different kinds of fish that people keep introduced me to different kinds as well. So it's, I think, at least for me, safely speaking, it's almost a 50-50 thing to me. My love for keeping fish is about as strong as my love for being with you guys, hanging out and doing stuff like this, being part of a community, I guess. I know that's being thrown around a lot, being in a fish community, whether it's, you want to label it fish fam or not. It's just, I'm not tearing up here. My voice is just dry. That's why I keep a beverage, tasty beverage. By the way, I think in future episodes of this, I want to get back, once we rearrange this whole system, our computers and mixing boards and everything, we're going to go into the house in a designated area, and I'll get back to our regular microphones again and have a little better sound. Right now I'm using a clip-on microphone by DJI, which does great. But to me, it's sounds a little better when I can tweak the sound to my liking. Tweak the freak. Hashtag tweak the freak, and that's probably a radio thing. We'll wait later for that. I'm not sure how much longer this video plays out, but about the time that it stops is when we'll move on to the next thing. Try and keep my eye on chat. Jody P is here. That's another wonderful lady that I met. Just it's great meeting these people. I met some of you met her in real life as well, but I had the pleasure of meeting Jody P face to face. I even got to interview her on one of our videos at the cookout. It was a great interview, by the way. I mean, like, I was like Barbara Walters, only like a man. Does that make sense? I don't know what this footage is. It's looking out the window, I guess. I didn't go over that footage very well. I tried to clip out some stuff as I saw it. It was like some of the videos were longer, and so it's do you even realize it's recording right now? Oh, I'm filling up the 210. Oh, I'm playing with the gimbals, so that's probably part of it, why it was going up and down. I look at some of this stuff and it's like, man, I wish I had the tank back to looking like that. We changed it around since then. Anyhow. Looking at chat. See, all you guys are used to just talking amongst yourselves. So you usually ignore it. And now that I'm finally watching it on here, waiting for you guys to say something to me, you're not saying anything. Jake never looks at chat anyway. It's true. But this is a different live stream. One designed that I can try to keep it focused right on the stream here, on the chat. You see the black moors in that shot? Those are ones I got from Jeff. They're a lot bigger now. Mr. Jeff Kane makes wonderful... Hi, Jeff. Makes wonderful goldfish. He makes wonderful all sorts of fish. I love Jeff Kane's fish. I also love Pepin Creek aquatic fish. Oh, there's some Katie. Here's some Katie. I promised, I told you guys there'd be some Katie shots. This is when we finally filled up that 210. The first thing we did was, and we had to, because it was last year at the end of season in the pond, we had to bring our goldfish in. And I was going to make a big video on all sorts of footage of us trapping them and draining the pond and everything, and I just never made a video out of it. But this is some footage from that. Just plopping them goldfish in it. I love that tank as a goldfish tank. Okay, but it's Katie's tank, and she's got other plans for it. But if I had my way, that's where I'd keep goldfish. Big old 210, 220 gallon acrylic aquarium. It's awesome. Hey, recorded Katie. Plopping them fish. Right now we've got some various cichlids in there and a lot of cyano. Added a bunch of substrate and rocks and plants, and there's one fish. For some reason, whatever tank we put that fish in, cyano blooms like crazy. So currently we're looking to get rid of those cichlids, and Katie would like to clean it all up, treat it good, and turn it into a nanofish aquarium, a river tank. Just nothing but small fish like danios and barbs and all sorts of whatever We can get to live together without killing each other too much. Being that it's a huge tank and put lots of hiding spots, I think we can get a lot of multiple little fish in there. Probably not guppies. Maybe some male endlers. We'll see. She's got some ideas. That's the end of that fish segment. Nick's here. He wants to learn some radio shot. Well, we just finished the fish section. Let me transition this back to where you can kind of see me. Scary. Not bad. Actually, 20 minutes in on the live, 21 minutes on the live stream, and got a 15-minute segment in there. The fish section that I made for video is not quite that long, so it will probably loop through. I'll just keep my eyes on the clock after that, but man, I'm just really happy. Skipper's here today. How long have you been? You just showed up. Skipper, thanks for showing up. Skipper's a fish guy, but he is also a radio guy too, I think. He has to use them for his job, part of it, and I think part of it is just a radio guy. He likes it. He likes that stuff. Next section is going to be about plants. Plants. We love our fish. I think that Katie and I both have a love for plants that started before rekindling our love for fish. Just both of us have always had a very green thumb. We have both learned from our mothers about most of it. I learned a lot from my dad about certain things, mostly yard keeping stuff, and gardening for both. Flowers and flower beds and stuff like that from my mother. Just anything that grows, I just love it. Always have. It was always fascinating to me how a seed can sprout and turn into this big anything. From a small blade of grass to a giant basswood tree or giant pine tree or whatever. This vegetation and how that all works is just fascinating to me. There's so many varieties, just like fish, and there's so many colors, and the fact that you can propagate them is almost like breeding fish. You can make more of them from what you already have. You can arrange them and make it beautiful and do certain things. And as we got into fish keeping, we finding different aquatic plants when everything used to be terrestrial for us. When we got into ponds and lily pads and things like that, and learning more about aquarium plants that you can also have in ponds, it just kind of made it even more, it just opened up a new world of plants to us that strengthened the bond between those two things. So let's get on with the plant section, shall we? And I won't talk so much anymore. Well, I'll keep talking, but here's our greenhouse as it looks today. At least that shot and this inside shot that you just saw in the very beginning. Some of this is from today, these first few shots, and then there's going to be some older footage. Some of you that have been following along, and I apologize that, again, video footage of putting the greenhouse back up, but last winter our greenhouse collapsed under the weight of a very hard, very heavy, wet, and then suddenly freezing snow that we had in late winter, early spring. It was kind of a freak thing, and it collapsed our greenhouse on the second winter that it had been up. It was devastating to us emotionally, and things that having a new child, having to deal with still being raising a baby and then dealing with that, it was bad. We got it back up and going then. super a bunch of help from you guys. Again, the super chats and the things that we had in our live streams and our memberships basically paid for us to get a replacement greenhouse kit. And then with the help of my cousin, rebuilt a frame underneath to be able to strengthen it and reinforce it. So it is super strong. And it's been rebuilt. But I haven't put out very much footage about that. So that'll change. In these episodes of FPR, it's going to be a lot easier to... Oh, there's another Katie shot. It's going to be a lot easier to do some of that. Fish Fam links in here. Help our community grow. Great. That's awesome. Sorry, I looked away from the chat for a little bit. That's the setup we had earlier in the spring there with one of the ponds. We actually tore it all down this last weekend. We got crazy full of plants. I took all the plants that I had in that big one and gave them to my friend Dave to throw in his outdoor pond. So plants, finding, there's going to be a lot of aquatic stuff, but you can see like our house plants, our wet feet plants, finding out ways to grow hydroponically and aquaponic type setups has been a lot of fun. Using tank water not only to water your plants with, but actually making bog systems where you can immerse the plant and just the roots and have a pump flowing water through it from your aquarium and then back into your aquarium or pond. But doing it with aquariums has been awesome. We need to redo that actually with our current goldfish tank that we have for over there. It's in the 55 now. Finding that our goldfish pretty much eat just about any plant that we put in with them. If they don't eat it completely, they definitely make it ugly. It's hard to do real plants for us in goldfish. So doing these bogs and having pretty much house plants growing out of them, the plants do awesome. They grow fast, they grow big, they grow full, and it keeps the goldfish water a lot cleaner. I mean, it's anyone that keeps a lot of goldfish know that, man, they will discolor that tank faster than any other fish that I've ever kept. Bye, Jose. Are you taking off? Is that what it looks like? You have donkey tails. I love that plant. What are donkey tails? June. Maybe we must know them by a different thing. This is where having Katie on our future episodes, which she will be, it's just not tonight. She has so much more knowledge of as far as names of plants and plant care. I mean, I can grow things, but her knowledge base of different plants is amazing to me. And she's been into it for a long time. She's sold a lot of plants, working at greenhouses, and she's got a knack for it. Anything that has to do with plants, she's almost like Rain Man. It just sticks there. Mostly the terrestrial stuff. But still, as she learns like aquatic plants and stuff, I always have to ask her, like, what's the name of that plant again? Like, she'll just rattle it off. She remembers. It's not as easy for me. Here's some birds in our outdoor pond. That was a couple years ago. It's a 700-gallon stock tank pond. And I don't know if you can see the birds kind of taking a bath. There's a bog made out of a barrel liner that the water flows into first, and it's probably 2 feet round. about 8 inches deep, and then it overflows out of that into the, and it's kind of held up by a spool, plastic spools. They're just below the water line, so you can place all these rocks and it looks like they're just sitting there. But they're really sitting on top of these black spools that you don't see underwater. A little night shad that I found. Again, like I said, just kind of threw some stuff together to get this new live stream rolling. That's a female oriole. We love our birds too. I mean, we could call this FPRBD. I don't want to get into using too many letters because it makes people wonder, but we love birds, we love darts, we love all sorts of other stuff. So just kind of keeping it to 3 topics that I think that I can mesh together somehow. And once we get to the radio section, then I'll try to tie that in with the first 2. It might be strange, a strange thought. Anyways, that's our old greenhouse when we first set up a pond inside there. It's kind of towards the beginning of the season. And it's all solar powered, so I can run pumps and aerators and all sorts of good stuff. All right, plants are addicting. Yes, yes, they are. Looking at the chat, Jennifer's in here. Oh, I see her. Well, hello, Jen. Welcome in. You guys are, Vibes, good evening. Now, you're all here for the very first ever episode. The premiere episode of what I am excited about. Doing a different live stream. It's very off the cuff tonight. Very, very unscripted. But it's also a test. I should have just said, I'm warning you guys, you're my test subjects. This is a test run. It is the very first one, though. I was so nervous even thinking about doing this prior to going live. It felt like it was almost that nerves you feel in the first time you ever do a live stream. And it's just like, oh my gosh, people are going to be watching me. That's a Pothos in a 110 gallon. Oh, you see it switched so fast that by the time I start talking about it. Blue Baltic Pothos. Not that one, the one before. It's regular Pothos growing out of the 75 along with some other plants. There's some aquatic plants there. Anyways, Vibes is drinking raspberry pink lemonade. That sounds good. I shall have a swig of a beverage as well. To make the whistle wet. So finding ways to use any kind of plants along with fish, I found even doing water changes and using that water to water a garden, tomatoes, anything. It just, some more kitty. So this is after we rebuilt the frame of the greenhouse, and then we had all these, before we could put the cover on, there was all sorts of weeds growing and stuff, and so she was in there pulling weeds. I was standing on the deck maybe 40 yards away zooming in on her because I love watching her. I like to watch my Katie. What was I saying? Oh yeah, watering plants, terrestrial plants. Anything you've planted in dirt. If you don't know that already or you haven't tried it, you need to. first of all, you're going to save on a water bill if you are city water. Excuse me. Even if you don't, if you're out in the country and you're in well water and it doesn't really matter how much you use, it's still not only waste less water, I think, but to use that water instead of dumping it out, try it on your plants outside, inside, anything like that. Use that water on plants. If you haven't done that, you'll be amazed. It's absolutely amazing. Well, June, grow great weeds. I'm sure it's because of your water changes, right? And it only makes sense. I mean, the more aquatic plants you put in your aquarium, the better your water quality is going to be. I really believe that. I think that our fish do better in planted tanks. Anything that's got real plants in it. It's just hands down better. So we've been figuring that stuff out, and I've got a lot of ideas of like bog type systems that are a little bit more unconventional and a little more ornate. There's a lot of great ideas out there and amazing things that people have already done, and it can be a whole hobby in itself. I think adding on to your fish hobby and incorporating plants, whether you have them hanging around in the fish room, out of the water, like I said, doing a water change anyways, use it and water your plants. Even if you don't water with it exclusively, it's like a fertilizer boost. But I say you don't have enough plants until you don't have enough water from your water changes to water them all. If you're winding up with more water than you can water everything with, get more plants. To reach a balance where you can use all of that water. Some shots of the yard past years. That's one of the renditions of the pond, and we had cypress grass in pots all around it. It's kind of cool. That's towards the end of the season, before we had our shade cloth over it. I feel like this is looped by already, so that's probably a good 15 minutes of plant talk, wouldn't you think? Nick says I don't have any tanks without plants. It's part of the deal now. Yeah, once we got out of that, oh, I forgot to hit transition. Once we got out of that, I don't know. There was a time I really loved fake plants. I do have some still. Some I use for ornamental purposes around the fish room. Some I use inside tanks to let other plants grow on, or with goldfish if I want to have it look, but they have to look nice. But once I got out of that phase, I wanted like hyper colored plants everywhere and multicolored gravel, which I'm still kind of partial to. I almost want to set one up and keep one like that anyways, because it just, but once I got into real plants and understood how awesome they were inside the tank, seeing how they changed, it really changed my mind about having plants. So it's almost part of the deal now too with us. We always have plants in there. I was trying to relate to you, and went on and on like I normally do. That's why we need a Katie here. Alright, I do not have a video for radios. Like I said, I only decided a few days ago to actually have it be this Wednesday that I started this. Had I given myself another week, Plan is within a week. It's really easy to just shoot 15 minutes worth of video and throw it on there. So, tonight I do not, but I have some radios to show you guys. Radios, how do you go from plants, fish to plants? I get. Fish to plants to radios. Maybe they don't go together. Except this one's green. Fish, plants, radios. I didn't really think this thing through, did I? Another one of our passions, things that I want to say hobbies. I like saying passions sometimes. It's like a hobby to me sometimes feels like it's you got nothing better to do and you need to kill some time. Our kind of hobbies are ones that's like try to make time to do normal things and adult things and responsible things, because you can't help yourself but to want to spend all of your time doing these other things. That's a passion. Music's another one for me. I know I share that with Nick, but I posted a link to a video on my other channel. It was kind of dumb, and it was late at night, and I made a comment, you know, smoke something and watch this and tell me what you think. And I don't know. Anyways, sidetracked. Radios. And I'm talking two-way communications. Recently, in about a year, I got a license for GMRS radio. I knew a little bit about GMRS. Probably didn't even know what it even stood for back in the day. But I had a love for walkie-talkies since I was a kid. I always called them that. I always will. Old walkie-talkies in the 80s that were black, had a big bright orange button on the front, and all the Morse code written out on the front. So you could tap that button while holding down the push to talk and beep, 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 and be able to send that all the way over to your friend 20 feet away. I don't know how much further it went than that. If you had a wide open area, you could probably get 50 feet out of them. I don't know. They had put a 9-volt battery in them, and hopefully you never lost the cover for it. I wish I had one still. I need to like search eBay to try to find this. So I don't even know what their models were. But they're all black, had that orange button, and it didn't have any other channels. You just bought the set, and you could buy another set and they might not work together. I don't even know what frequencies they used back then. Probably operated on some kind of CB. I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to look up. What did kids' walkie-talkies frequencies were back in the 80s? Anyways, it was something so cool about the fact that, I mean, I knew what a phone was. Everyone had a phone hanging on their wall or sitting on a table, but that you could go outside and not see your friend and talk to them. And in your mind, no one else could hear. Whether you were playing police or you were playing some kind of hide-and-seek game or whatever, it was just so cool to me. And a lot of people loved that sort of thing. But yeah, if you lost that back cover, then you had a 9-volt that could possibly just dangle out, so Dad would have to wrap some electric tape around it, but that would cover up your Morse code thing, which never had time to like actually figure that out. Morse code. And forgive me if it slips out as Morris once in a while, because it surely does. Oh, 9-volt battery to the tongue. That's how you knew you still had If it wasn't working very good, you pop that battery off, stick it on your tongue. Oh, it's a little weak. You can barely feel it. And if you grabbed a new one out of the package, you know it's brand new. You don't have to put it on your tongue, but for the sheer enjoyment of it, you did it anyways. Stick that puppy back on your walkie-talkie and you're good to go. For a few hours until it dies again. That was the origin story of my love for two-way radio. Did you enjoy it? I hope you did. It was a few years of different types of radios, even into the 90s when they started looking like cell phones. It had a set like that too. Like the big gray cell phones with an antenna on it, which I thought was kind of cool. They had a push-to-talk on the side instead. Always liked that. I got into scanners when I started getting into photography for the newspaper. They gave me a scanner to use, or lent me one, and I started getting into that like pretty heavy. I thought it was cool that there was all this. It was almost like another world going on that you didn't know about unless you had a scanner, because it allowed you to listen to all these frequencies of things going on and stuff going on that people were just going about their daily life and had no idea that so-and-so was getting pulled over or somebody's dog was missing or a lot worse stuff that you can hear over that. It's just very cool as well. I say very cool a lot. Getting back into the subject, GMRS was something that I had first bought this radio here. It's an AudioVox. The model on it is GMRS-1535. I lost the clip. It's around here somewhere, but it operates on 4 AAA batteries. It has a removable antenna, NOAA weather alerts, and radio. Bought this back 2002-ish. It was earlier than that, maybe 2000. That's 25 years ago now. Still works. I don't even know if I have batteries in there. I took the batteries out. I didn't want them to, like, you don't want batteries leaking and stuff, so generally we'll take out batteries like that, AAAs. Anyways, I lived in Superior, Wisconsin. Twin ports, they have Duluth, Superior. I was playing around with that radio and I did scan and I would never really hear much of anything until one night I heard what was traffic for a skiing competition. There's a ski hill in Duluth. I forgot the name of that mountain, but Spirit Mountain, I think. It took me a while to listen to it and understand that that's what was happening. When I look out the window of my apartment, I could see it, but it was a long ways away, and I was just kind of amazed that I was picking up radio traffic from it. Of course, this is in my early 20s, and I couldn't resist the temptation to talk back. And when they heard me, it almost sparked that childhood thing in me of that memory of how cool it was to be able to talk to somebody that you couldn't see, not be on the phone. Call it geeky, call it dorky, call it what you will, but it was more the fact that how does it work? Why is it that you can do that? And just kind of went on from there. Now let me get back to the chat, and hopefully not too many of you left already, but any of you guys gone through anything like that? Are you into any kind of two-way communication? If so, I'll continue on with why I think it can go along with fish and plants. I'll tell you anyways. How does it relate? Well, at least for Katie and I, having our daughter, having our passions, our hobbies, oftentimes we have to divvy up who's doing what. A lot of times Katie handles dinner time, bath time with River while I try to get things done out here. And the two-way radio just between us helps us be in touch a lot easier than trying to call us on the cell phone if we need something. Especially if it's something urgent. You leave your radio on and you call out to the person, they're going to hear it right away. Instead of, who's calling me? Well, I'm too busy. Katie, I think, got into radio a lot more when she was doing EMS work. When she was first responder working on ambulance and getting into the world of that side of the radio. So she always got it. She got into scanning a lot more and doing two-way communications in an emergency sense. And since she's not here, I'm not going to try and speak for her on her side of it, but just know that she's a major radio dork. She may not have all sorts of theory and knowing how the radios work, but when I bought her a new scanner for her birthday, she cried. She didn't want. She was like just in disbelief that I got that for her. She was so happy and so overwhelmed by it that she was crying tears of joy. I didn't expect that. I thought she'd be like, well, that's cool. Awesome, thanks. No, I mean, it was like I probably could have just proposed to her with the radio instead of a ring. Probably would have gave her more joy. Anyways. She has that love for radio too. Doing these things and getting into gardening, working on plants, working on fish with someone else, or even if your significant other doesn't have that kind of love for fish like you do. Katie and I are fortunate that we both do. It's also a curse because we don't tell each other no. But it has enabled us to have better communication in our home. And I think that if any of you were to try that or think that there's some times where you have to be separate, having a little fun, little radio to talk back and forth to each other and make it fun. It doesn't have to be all normal talk. In fact, that's what GMRS is actually for, families. You buy one license, one person in the family buys a license. It's $35 for 10 years. You get a call sign. You're good to go. Any member of your family, you can get radios for all of them, and it's all covered. There's no test involved. You don't have to pass a test. It's just that for the GMRS radios, because they have higher power, can do a lot more things. Having a license helps people be a little more etiquette with them. Plus, I think the government likes to make money off of people. But anyways, there's that part. The other way I think that it can help, other than organizing your own home better or helping a relationship, well, a little communication is always good in the home. And if you can make it fun, if you can both have fun with it, why not? Because I think that is fun. No, you don't get to pick your own call sign, Nick. Amateur radio, from what I've heard, like ham radio or amateur radio, which you do have to take tests for, and there's different levels. I think for a certain fee, I don't know if you have to pay extra or not, but I do know that you can make a list of preferred call signs and from like most wanted to least, and if it's not taken by anyone, they will try to give you that call sign. I almost think you gotta pay a little fee for that or something, almost like a personalized plate. But for GMRS, it's different. They just give you one. Cell phones ended our use of the handhelds, and that's true. I mean, that's the way it goes a lot. But you have to admit, walkie-talkies are more fun. And also, when you're doing activities or outdoor activities, camping, hiking, stuff like that, you're not always going to have cell phone service. Cell phone services can go down. Everyone's experienced that. I also think of off-grid scenarios, or when the power goes out or anything like that. You're not going to have a problem communicating with one of these. This is one of the newest radios. I just got another one of these in the mail today. So Ocean KG-Q10G. A little bit pricey, some may think, compared to some other ones. It's definitely not something that you have to spend a bunch of money on for radios. I've got good radios here that, like this one's $10 radio. Works awesome. There's $20 radios, $30 radios. Depends on the features, but they'll all do the same thing. Talk back and forth. I lost my train of thought. Man, I hate when that happens. Just the fact that, yes, you can have cell phones, and it's kind of cut down on that a lot, but it's a different form, and I think a very valid form of communication still. And if you think about how cell phones even work, it's still a walkie-talkie. It's radio waves, just a different frequency. Key the mic. Katie's got her radio off, so it says Fish Daddy. Home 21. So in future episodes, I might do a little like product spotlight thing, go over a radio like this, go over Katie's scanner, talk about what we like about them, how we use them, stuff like that, our opinion. We're not experts on the subject by any means, and there's plenty of YouTube videos out there for that sort of thing. So it's just really going to be like normal people, how we use our radios and what we like about them, and talk about, I think, subjects like how can people in Fish Fam use radios. Think about the events that you go to. Think about the crowd of people. Maybe how cell phone service doesn't work all that great inside the building. Think about maybe you're with a group of people, maybe, or just one other person, and you need to go to the bathroom. That person is going to be lost in a sea of people. How do you quickly get a hold of them to find out where they're at? Organizing the events. The organizers of the events using the radios to talk to each other and keep the event moving smoothly, and not have to worry about calling them on their phone and then not hearing the ringer or not hearing the text or whatever. Is quick and easy to be like, okay, I'm over here. Okay, starting in 3 seconds. Whatever. You see that sort of thing all the time in events, concerts, whatnot. They all use radios. That's something that I think about too. Katie and I brought him along to the cookout this year at Foxy and Brian's, and it helped a lot. There was times that we had to, one of us would take River and go to the tent, and we'd be back. One of us would hang out with the people still, and it's nice to know if there's a code brown, you got a baby, and there's diarrhea everywhere, and you need help right now. You have that radio and be like, code brown, and I was running straight to the tent to help her out. That happened. So, a lot easier than picking up the phone, trying to thumb through your contacts and make sure you hit the button, and oops, it didn't go right, and you're holding on to a crappy baby butt everywhere inside of a tent. I'd rather have the radio. Not saying that's fish and plants related, but as fish keepers, as plant keepers, it's little things like that. I'd like you guys to kind of think about it, if you haven't. How could it be useful in your life? Especially if we get to meet up and be at events. And
Are you boring them with radio talk?
No, this is a radio segment.
Okay.
It's been over an hour, so it's probably time to end the live stream too. I tried my best to keep looking at the chat, Katie. I really did.
Good.
I keep the mic just like I was asked. Only if you call me Gout Toe. You gotta have some numbers in there. So for a GMRS call sign, it's 3 letters, then 3 numbers. I could tell you ours. I can tell you ours. That's fine.
Yeah. Because then maybe we can talk to everybody.
Well,
you never know.
You don't need my call sign to talk to me, but it's WSHD 560. And it kind of is nice because it's got HD in it.
Hey everyone.
One last thing before I go on the radio subject, I'm a member of a forum. It's called MyGMRS. So you go to mygmrs.com. You can go there as a visitor. It's more of a forum type social media thing, but there's a community there if you're interested in that sort of a thing. I'm on there as HHD1. We have the same logo in the corner. There's another popular YouTuber by the name of Nada Rubicon. Nada Rubicon. Nada Rubicon. There's other YouTubers on there too, but he's got quite the following on YouTube. Excellent channel. If you find Nada Rubicon on YouTube, he is the queen, self-proclaimed queen of all that is GMRS. And it might sound like it's a homosexual thing.
It's not. He's just pretty funny, dry sense of humor, but very hilarious.
I don't think it's dry. The dude is absolutely
his face.
Hilarious, and he's all about GMRS. He is a member of mygmrs.com forum as well. He's on there. You'll just have to figure out who he is on there, but it's easy to find out. You can search topics, post questions. There's a lot of good people on there just willing to help answer things, and there's other radio stuff on there. There's a section in there for amateur radio, MERS, 900 million, CB, I don't know, all sorts of different radio formats on there. But again, my as in my, mygmrs.com. Check it out. Find me on there. We'll say hi. I'll introduce you to people. I've been on there for a while. If you're interested, I highly suggest checking that out, please.
Bye, Vibes. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, everybody. It's a little bit late. I'm getting thirsty, and we've done our hour. So I don't have a bunch of neat songs and stuff yet for this, but maybe in the future. So for tonight, Katie's going to sing you a good night song.
It's comfy cozy time. It's comfy cozy time. It's not just any time. It's comfy cozy time.
That's awesome.
That's River's comfy cozy song.
That's why I like it so much. All right.
Thanks for coming, guys. We love ya.
Love you very much.